In cities, we can easily forget how frightening nature actually is, especially because of all the various wild animals out there. However, there are definitely situations where they end up getting really close to people, invading homes, stores, and causing some terrifying attacks, and that's exactly what you are going to see here today. So drop a like, hit that subscribe button down below, and let's get started. After the biggest flood in 100 years, the daily life of a family in northern Queensland was completely turned upside down. The water rose rapidly, invaded the house, and left enormous damage behind. 3 cars were completely ruined, and even shipping containers were swept away by the powerful current. At certain moments, the water level actually entered the rooms, forcing everyone to move upstairs. When the water finally began to recede, another problem quickly appeared. Several animals started showing up in the backyard and even inside the residence. The environment, filled with debris from the flood, became a perfect hiding spot. Among the species in the region are some of the most dangerous in all of Australia, which only increased the family's concern. During the search, a scream came from inside the house. In the upstairs bathroom, there was a snake stretched out inside the bathtub. It turned out to be a carpet python, a non-venomous species, but one that can react aggressively when it feels threatened. The animal, about 2 meters long, was carefully captured and placed inside a proper bag. Then it was taken to a more suitable area, far away from houses. A tense outcome, but one that truly shows how extreme events can completely change the surrounding landscape. In Altadena, California, a case drew attention at the end of 2025. Ken Johnson noticed that something enormous had gotten underneath his house. A bear, estimated to weigh around 220 kilograms, found a small opening that gave access to the home's crawl space. According to released footage, the animal removed the covering that was blocking the hole and went headfirst into the spot. Even though it seemed impossible given his size, he managed to squeeze himself into that underground hiding place. The problem showed up when it was time to get back out. The space was just too narrow, and the bear got stuck for a moment, trying to find solid footing and push his own body back outside. The noise was loud, and residents reported intense sounds coming from underneath the house. After some effort, the animal managed to free himself and got out, knocking over trash cans along the way. To everyone's surprise, another bear showed up in the area shortly after, drawing even more attention. Ken said he reached out to wildlife authorities for guidance. He received the recommendation to make a lot of noise to try and scare the animal away. Still, the visitor stuck around for a while, reinforcing the need to properly seal any openings in homes near areas with wildlife. Residents of a small town called Scariest, located in Sao Paulo, Brazil, encountered a mountain lion roaming through their streets. Video recorded by locals shows the animal running, looking clearly scared, while the driver kept going in his car, honking repeatedly to warn people nearby. At one point in the footage, a pedestrian gets completely startled while crossing the road. The wildcat, weighing in at around 75 pounds, tried to get into different houses, fiddling with gates, but it just couldn't get through. Eventually, it wound up invading a construction site and ended up at the back of the property of the local basic health unit. Despite getting close, it didn't actually enter the building. Teams were called in, including the Jaguar Fire Department, the Environmental Military Police, and professionals from UNESP who handled the sedation and capture of the animal. The Jaguar was safely rescued and returned to the wild in a forested area about 20 kilometers away. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but it was a close call. Encounters with wild animals can even happen in urban areas, requiring caution and a quick response from the authorities. Just imagine coming home and finding a giant lizard in your living room. Well, that's exactly what happened in Louisiana in the United States. A property that was under construction in the city was housing an enormous alligator about 10 feet long. It was discovered in the living room, just relaxing as if it owned the place. The first person to notice was David Bradford, who found the whole thing extremely strange when he walked in. The construction site had open access, so the animal slipped in completely unnoticed. Bradford called for help immediately. Among the professionals who arrived was Jerome Pruitt, a specialist in animal removal. He stated that he had never encountered an alligator inside a house before. The footage shows the rescue operation. Pruitt throws a rope over the animal, adjusts it carefully, and guides the alligator outside. His goal was to control the reptile's movement, preventing it from reacting aggressively. Once outside, it was necessary to secure the animal's mouth to ensure everyone's safety. The alligator, which weighed about 115 kilograms, was safely returned to its natural habitat. A horse walked into a hardware store down in Rio Grande do Sul, completely startling the employees who were hard at work at that very moment. The footage shows the animal already agitated, still standing outside. The owner tries desperately to hold it back, but he simply can't prevent it from charging inside. In the next moment, the horse forces its way through the door, galloping around the interior of the store, and eventually knocking over shelves with its powerful movements. The employees watch closely, trying their best not to react just to avoid making the animal even more frantic. At a certain point, the beast approaches the main counter. Thoroughly spooked, it leaps right over the countertop, sending the workers fleeing in absolute panic. After that chaos, it finally exits the premises. According to the information that was released, 2 employees suffered only minor injuries. The store owner described the entire event as a completely unexpected episode, but confirmed that the damages had been fully assessed. He stated that the horse's owner had taken responsibility for covering all the costs. The incident ended without any more serious consequences, but it made one thing very clear: how a single moment of panic can spiral into a dangerous situation in just a handful of seconds. In Monrovia, California, one family's night ended with a crazy surprise inside their house. A mother bear and her tiny cub broke into Alicia Taylor's home and went straight for the pantry, hunting for food. Among the goodies were donuts and other snacks stored in the cupboard. The bears got inside through a front window that had been left open for ventilation. They basically tore through the screen, which gave them full access to the residence. Alicia told reporters that she was home when she left her bedroom, walked toward the kitchen, and accidentally came face to face with both of them. She was totally terrified and had no clue how the mother bear would react. To try and scare them off, she made loud noises from inside the house. The strategy worked. The mother bear quickly left, and her cub followed right behind her. No one got hurt, but the situation wasn't over that night. The next day, the same animals returned to the Monrovia home. This time though, luckily the window was already shut, preventing them from getting in again. In India, an enormous tiger entered a home in Pilibhit on the morning of November 23, 2016. The animal came from a nearby tiger reserve, terrifying everyone in the village at around 7 in the morning. As soon as the news spread, locals quickly gathered around the property. Some people climbed up onto walls while others tried to capture footage with their phones. The situation became so incredibly tense that the police had to step in to keep everyone safely away. The risk was extremely real, since any close approach could easily provoke a dangerous attack. Inside the house, the tiger moved calmly and slowly, alternating between the interior and the veranda, as if it had deliberately chosen that spot to rest. To try and get control of the situation, Forest Department teams mounted a full operation that lasted about 12 long hours. Experts from the Lucknow Zoo were also called in to assist. In the end, the animal was sedated with a tranquilizer dart, carefully placed in a cage and taken back to its natural habitat. According to released information, it was a young tiger, approximately 2 years old. The whole incident ended without any injuries, but it left the village on high alert with frightened residents still on edge. In the state of Florida, in the United States, some unexpected visitors have been showing up at people's front doors, terrifying the residents. These are none other than alligators trying to get inside homes through the front entrance. In the city of Tampa, for instance, one family woke up to the sound of their front door being scratched and shaken. At first, they thought it might be a person trying to break in. The dog started barking, cranking up the tension even more. When they checked the camera, the surprise hit them. It wasn't a delivery driver or a thief, it was an alligator on the porch. Another similar incident happened near Orlando, where a homeowner spotted the animal standing right at the front door. The reptile, almost 8 feet long, actually pressed against the door as if trying to get in. She warned everyone not to open it. Then she called a professional to remove the animal. The alligator moved through the yard until it went back into the water. These episodes show how, in areas close to natural habitats, encounters like this can happen, and the doorbell camera has become a key ally to avoid bigger problems. Back in April of 2016, a video started circulating, leaving millions of internet users absolutely shocked. The footage showed a snowboarder heading down a mountain with a camera in her hand, listening to music and recording her entire route. Midway through the recording, a bear appears in the background and seems to be running straight toward her. The clip gained massive traction across social media and racked up millions of views, sparking worldwide debates about whether it was real or not. In the video, the woman keeps going down while the creature appears behind her, giving it a chase-like feeling. The recording got shared across different profiles and ended up being talked about even by media outlets, which went so far as to listen to experts to analyze the technical details of the images. What really caught people's attention was how intense the discussion got. Some folks bought into it right away, while others noticed inconsistencies in the audio and the way the animal moved. Still, the content just kept spreading. Only a few months later did it come out that the video was part of a project by an Australian production company, created as an experiment on internet virality. So basically, it wasn't a genuine sighting. It was a production made to test just how far a well-edited story could go, and you can clearly see that it worked out pretty well. They bought their dream home in Idaho for $180,000. It was a big place with 5 bedrooms, and it felt like the start of a new chapter for Ben and Amber Sessions. But the move turned into a serious headache within the first few weeks. Inside the house, they started finding garter snakes. At first, it seemed like isolated incidents, but the situation kept getting worse. Before long, they couldn't even count how many were appearing. According to the couple, the snakes became so common that their daily routine completely changed. They knew, when they bought it, that there were records of snakes on the property. That detail was in the paperwork. Still, they never imagined there'd be this many. They tried handling it themselves, sealing cracks and reinforcing parts of the structure, but the problem continued. As time went on, it became unbearable. After multiple failed attempts, they ended up filing for bankruptcy. The house went back to the bank and its value dropped to under $110,000. Locals started calling it the Snake House. The story got media attention and became an example of how quickly a dream can become a nightmare when these feared serpents are involved. Inside the garage of a home, a moment of peace was suddenly broken by a scene captured on security cameras. A dog was sleeping against the door, apparently resting just as it did every single day. There was no sign that anything was about to happen. Then, out of nowhere, a Jaguar appears in the garage. The animal enters silently and approaches with extreme caution. Within just a few seconds, it lunges at the dog in a rapid movement. The canine is caught completely off guard while sleeping and cannot react in time. The action unfolds quickly, showing just how dangerous wild animals like this Jaguar can really be. The video circulated widely on social media and drew a lot of attention for how precise the attack was. There's no detailed info about the exact place where it happened or the pet's condition after the incident, but we're really hoping the animal ended up being okay. People inside a store in São Domingos do Capim, Pará, ran out screaming when a bull suddenly burst in and started knocking over absolutely everything in its path. This incident was captured by the security cameras at Armarinho Planeta Center, right on the town's waterfront around 10 o'clock in the morning. In the footage, you can see that only the owners, Anna Neva and Jean Alex, were present at the location. The animal suddenly appears and charges through the space. A man still tries to fend it off, but he can't manage it. Anna looks terrified and rushes to take cover behind the counter, while her husband heads out toward the street to seek help. According to Anna's account, the entire episode lasted less than 30 seconds, but it was enough to create absolute chaos. After the scare, 2 ranch hands were called and managed to contain the bull. According to the store owner, the animal had apparently escaped while being unloaded from a ferry at the city's port, which is located near the commercial center. There was damage to shelves and broken objects, but the responsible party committed to covering the costs. No one was injured. A brief episode, but definitely enough to become talk of the town and the world. On a nearly empty road in Nepal, a rhinoceros was caught on camera walking calmly through the Chitwan National Park area, a region well known for frequent appearances of these animals. The footage gained prominence during the country's quarantine period in 2021, when the streets were much quieter and the shops were all closed. In the footage, the massive animal emerges walking down the road, almost as if it were conducting a thorough inspection. At a certain point, a man who was also traveling along the same path suddenly comes face to face with the enormous rhino. The animal approaches and even charges directly at him for a few moments. Despite the frightening scare, the man manages to move away just in time. Afterward, the rhino loses interest and continues on its way. The footage was shared across social media by an Indian Forest Service official, which helped boost its widespread reach. The scene was linked to the country's period of strict restrictions, but experts pointed out that the presence of rhinos in this region is not at all unusual, since the area is home to a significant population of the species. It almost seems ironic when you take a moment to think about it. An urban roadway, shuttered businesses, and a wild animal wandering around freely. In this town, wild creatures coexist quite closely with the people. Don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this one.